Hello, hello, my friends. This is about a Yeshua channel. Today we're going to focus on the Anunnaki, Fallen Angels. Now, ancient aliens would have you believe that those who came from above are the same as Anunnaki, or Anunnaki is the same as those who came from above. That is absolutely not true. And obviously, fallen angels, first came from the heavens, from above. But that's not. They're implying that it means ETs and extraterrestrials alone, which obviously it does not. So, sorry, excuse me. We're going to clear that up first of all. If you would note in some Bibles, you know that you would find that the sons of Anu is mentioned. In fact, it's mentioned in most Bibles. And the Sumerians were talking about these Anunnaki an awful lot, but even the Bible mentions them. And, there has been manipulations gone through mankind, and it doesn't just touch everything around except for the Bible. The Bible does not stay foolproof. Now, I hate to say it, people, but even the Bible has been, um, manipulated. And that's where we get addition, or and I'm not trying to tick anybody off, but think about it, people. When Christ even says, when somebody says holy, why do you call me holy? Only the Father above can be holy, for anything that touches the earth cannot be holy, basically was what he's getting down to. And he's saying that anything that touches this earth cannot be holy. And so just because the warning is there doesn't mean that it hasn't been done. The Bible also tells us not to murder, doesn't it? It doesn't just say, hey, don't add or remove at the end of it. It also says, hey, um, don't murder, don't steal, don't cheat. But it's done every second of the day. We all know this, people. So let's clear that up. And so, but we do know that I would tell you right now, I have the King James Version. And if people read the original King James versions, they would see what I'm saying very much to be the case, because the original King James versions, before they were new translations and new editions and new revised uh, editions, were giving high praise to King James, calling him the Most High. In fact, they went on about him so much that you would think that they're looking at him above the Almighty. They call him uh, such names, and they go on more about him than they do God. It's sad. They realized they had to take that out. It was just that wasn't going to sell. It's just wasn't going to be. No, it was not going to work. So we got to remember that when there was the council, Neodicea, uh, and these people, they left out most of the Bible, most of it. I mean, there's a lot of books that were supposed to be in there, like the Book of Enoch, like the Book of Jubilees, there's just so many books. Um, Book of Ezra. There's just so many. Book of Nicodemus. Now there are some that I would have to say are just total, just made up stuff. Almost kind of like how conspiracy theorists work. It's almost like when they make a false flag, a fake thing, just to throw off a real thing, or they make a false conspiracy, or a false theory, or a ridiculous theory, conspiracy theory, just to throw off the conspiracy truths. You know what I'm saying, people? But anyway, let's get down to it. The Bible does say, it talks about the sons of Anak, so this is basically referring to the sons of An, the sons of Anu. And even though the Sumerians didn't have it right, even as far as the lineage about, or about all the background about Anu, because eventually they even, as you went down through time, they added to it and gave him even a father, Anshar, and a wife and everything else, for An, making it look like it just keeps going and go, oh, you can just, evolve, and it all comes down to the descendants, and you can be gods too. This was all part of the plan, people. This plan, once the angels knew that they were in trouble and were imprisoned, and their children also likewise would lose their bodies and float about as evil spirits, as the Book of Enoch. I would love to be able to quote the exact verses, but I think it's in, I believe it's Enoch verse, it's about around chapter 10, possibly. Anywhere between 5 and 12, I would be willing to bet. And it talks about how the giants, or the Nephilim, these are the children of the fallen angels, of the Anunnaki. And they thought that they would live to be 500 years or more. And God was like, no, you're going to lose your bodies, at least. You know, I may not judge your spirits yet, but your bodies are going to be judged right now and be done, done with, and you'll float about as clouds, and that's what Nephilos actually means, like clouds, to be like clouds. So it doesn't mean just giants. It doesn't mean that actually. It doesn't mean gigantes. It doesn't mean that. Gaius means that. But that's where it was derived from to float about as clouds. They would try to change that and just make it look like it just referred to giants only. And you're going to remember these children of the fallen angels. They weren't just giants. Some of them are hybrids. Some of them are like Medusas. And we're going to look through some of these pictures and see this to be the case. Let me see here. This is Ishtar. And I'm thinking that most of the female... Now, anytime you hear about the goddesses, and it talks... Enoch even talks about... the book of Enoch also talks about when Enoch is taken by Uriel to go see the ends of the heavens and ends of the earth and such, and look above the firmament. And I'm going to let you know, people, this isn't a flat earth video or anything like that, but I am going to refer to it, the truthness of it, because we are in a geocentric. It's just the way it is. I hate to say it. I hated to have to face it. I really did. I was depressed a long time over it, actually. In fact, it's not something nobody's, any flat earther, not flat earth society, because I'm not a member of that. That's one of those things I was telling you about. One of those things that throw off the truth. Yeah, these are a bunch of idiots that they put together, a bunch of trolls they put to make the real ones that knew what the earth is really about look like idiots. No. Yeah, and anytime they interview them, they always come up with ridiculous stuff, and then they give false information, like the earth is going upwards. No, it is fixed. It does not move. It is fixed. It is immovable. God even says that. He says that over and over again in the Bible. Over 238 times he refers to the earth and its position and such, and being that it's basically flat. And there's times where he straight out says it. There's times where he refers to the earth and the moon, and the sun and the moon, and the stars, about how they move, and and we're going to find out that the stars are not what you think. They are spirits, and we're going to talk about the devils, and the devils were the parents. Not just the parents. So you have your types of devils. You have your classes of angels too. So let's say the cherubim. Now there was a chief class: Yakun, Gadriel, Kesabel, Pinemu, and Kesadye. They were the 5 chief, and there were 7 of them in total. But the main 5, that's the ones that we're talking about. And that's where, even in the book of Enoch, you keep hearing 7, 7, 7. Talks about 7 chief mountains, 7 this and that, 7 stars. It's talking about the devils that are, they are basically controlled by God. And God, basically, they're on a work release program. That's the best way to say it, people. By God. They got their butts kicked before man was even made. Come on. They led a rebellion. Michael kicked it. God didn't even have to do anything. So, anyway, they're allowed to separate the harvest. Now, he knew that Satan was going to be messing around with things down on his earth and be messing with things anyway. So he was going to make mankind a second class of angels anyway. So this is all came in plan, and therefore he took mankind and saved us from the woes of Satan, because he was basically making his own form of man and messing up things. And then God, he made Eden, and he's like, all right, we're going to test it, give them a chance, see if they do the right thing, which I know they're not going to do. But I'm going to use these bad spirits, these fallen angels, to help separate the harvest. Get it? Hope you do. Anyway, Ishtar, she's one of the Nephilim. Now, she's worshipped as a goddess. A lot of these Nephilim, the children of these fallen angels, are worshipped as gods. But then again, also, so a lot of these Nephilim and even mankind are encouraged, especially in the times where the Nephilim can't, when after they get done killing each other off and everything over and over again, God puts a veil over them to where they cannot interfere with mankind unless we invite them to, which we've done again. And that's where you keep having these reoccursions. Well, just recently, they already had them, witches trying to mess around with them from the early Middle Ages, and then you had I'm sure you had your your tales back then about giants and trolls and things like that. Well, there's some truth in that, because I'm sure there was some witchcraft involved in DNA manipulation, because these evil spirits, you remember, they've been around for thousands of years, so they've got all this technology stuck in their head. They've been passing all these secrets and passing all these things to mankind, leading them to their death, basically. So let's get through this, basically. So we find out about these fallen angels. There were 200 that came down in the times of Jared, the days of Jared. That's the seventh from Adam. And they saw the women were beautiful, and they just said, "Hey, we're gonna have children through them, make wives out of them." And they swore with amongst themselves, and basically they made a pact, and Samyaza, some believe his name is also Azazel, but either way, Azazel and or Samyaza, they're the chief ones to be in trouble for. I know Azazel for sure is inscribed all sin in the Book of Enoch, and I think he's also basically Enki and Sumerian. I believe he's also Apollo and Apollyon. He's the angel of the bottomless pit, Beelzebub. I'm pretty I could almost be, I could say I'm 100% positive. I am about that. Now, whether his name was Samyaza, I'm not positive, but I'm willing to bet no, it wasn't. That Samyaza was actually in charge, but Azazel was like next in charge, but he took the lead in doing all the bad things. And Samyaza, yeah, he's going to have to pay for it too. But it very well could be Azazel. It very well could be. But either way, Azazel is to blame, and that's what he was referred to the most. He was ascribed all sin for that situation, for that the involvement of sin. That doesn't mean he's ultimately all responsible for all sin ever done. No, because that's Yakun, Satan, that's his name in Hebrew, or Lucifer, is ultimately the chief cherubim, a class of angels below the archangels, that is responsible. And they had somehow, well, first of all, he had Gadriel, his buddy. He was a lizard-like creature. I believe they had abilities to possess right off the bat. So he somehow possessed this serpent being, and talked about the serpent being the cunningness. I think he was a beautiful creature at one time, and then once possessed, because he allowed it, because Satan tricked him, and Gadriel tricked him and possessed it. And so it wasn't Satan that directly tricked Eve. It was actually Gadriel, but might as well have been Satan. So Yakun, Gadriel. And he tricked Eve and got her to eat from the fruit of knowledge. And that's even according to the book of Enoch and Adam and Eve. The book of Adam and Eve also pretty much suggests that they don't use the exact same names. In fact, they just use the serpent the Satan came up to this being the serpent and came to the fallen angel. It came to the fallen angel Gadriel. He was also cherubim. Now, I believe that I actually believe myself that the cherubim, I think they'd mistaken things at the time and thought that the cherubim were just nothing to do at all with serpents. I believe that they were like a serpent-like. They were beautiful, and that and they were, but a beautiful reptile almost, kind of, if you could even imagine that. And then when it had basically, came to mankind and showed itself, and that's when God cursed it with ugliness. That's what I truly believe. Even though some writings say that he possessed the shell, but we know that Satan has the ability to change his appearance. So there. Then again, Gadriel, if he's a chief cherubim, he would have the same ability, I would think. So I think they just ultimately came and deceived them, and therefore, because of that, there were creatures that were made in reference to what type of being they were, which was Icosod, and a beautiful cherubim at a time, but became ugly. But they were made kind of ugly, and they were to help us teach a lesson and to give us an idea of what Satan exactly, what he was like exactly altogether. That's my true belief. Okay, but I don't think that really matters. I think as long as we get to the pinpoint of it all. So we're seeing that these fallen angels had all kinds of ideas. They used the Freemasons, the Illuminati, ultimately to do these things, but it was to genetically alter not just mankind and they wanted to stamp out man. They wanted to stop Christ, first of all. Well, they seen that was going to happen. Well, then they just wanted to start where God says, I will put enmity between your seed and thy seed. He's talking to the serpent and to Eve. I do believe right then he was referring to that Satan was going to be able to have these angels and demons and stuff. And basically, all according to God's will, they were going to try to insert the serpent seed into mankind. Now, ultimately, is God doing this? No. He's just letting he's letting things flow. Because God can't do evil. He didn't even create evil. People would think that. No. He created free will. And when that free will was used, guess what? Then evil was devised. If there's ever anything that man could ever create, or man could create, because I would like to say that ultimately I don't believe, Satan can create a lot of things. I don't think he can create anything. I don't think we can create anything, except for one thing: evil. And the only way we'll be able to ever to do any good in creating such things is only through the power of God and through Christ. Now, we talk about somatics and stuff. And now, if you could imagine and do some work on this, or maybe yourself, and do proper research, I tell people, don't take my word for it. Take God's word for it and do research. Intense research, not just a little bit, because it's not the way you're going to find out. And you will find all these things to be the truth. But you'll find out this world is not only flat and stuff, but the stars. These are spirits. Bioluminescence. I like to call it astroluminescence almost. Astra, I don't know. It starts with an astral, spirit, something. Anyway, these are, all right, we have stars. We have the Watchers. Now, they are guarding these 7 planets. Why do we call planets after pagan gods? Because they are pagan gods. They are devils. Just like when Enoch says, you've led you fallen angels have led man into worshiping and sacrificing to devils and stuff like that. Well, he's also referring to these chief stars, or chief wandering planets that we think are planets. But think about it. How can it be a spherical thing? This proves also, that we're in a geocentric type of, scape environment, everything, situation. Because it's derived out of the word plane, planet, yes. All right, so we see that there's in the North Pole, there's a vortex. I know I'm cramming so much information at you guys. That's why I want you to do I want you to do the research mostly. I want you to do a lot of research just based on the things I'm talking about. In fact, if I could just throw some terms out there for you, it'd be best. All right, so you have over the North Pole, and you have, according to the Perry-Reese map, we're looking at this map right now. We have the new standard map. Our government uses this map, so look that up. Research all these things I'm saying, just to see if I'm lying. Prove me wrong. That's what I want you to do. I want you to prove me wrong on everything by proper research. This is not proper research. you just taking the word of somebody else. That's not research. Go out and go beyond observable. Try to prove these things and do the proper intense research. Look up and compare texts, ancient texts and stuff. Don't compare a bunch of people that hate God and then say there is no God, but then at the same time hate God. Now, how can you hate God if you don't believe in Him? Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Don't go after anybody that is one-sided. You know, either way. And I'm not one-sided, people. Believe it or not, I'm very much. I tried to be lukewarm there for the longest time, and I've been in every type of situation. But now I'm totally pro God, and why? Because I had been all these other things. I'd been an atheist. I'd hated God. And after I found out He did exist, and it's just crazy. I mean, I was a bad person there for a while, man. I used to curse God and everything. I'd cuss Him out. I'd say, and I wouldn't care to do it if I did a blood sacrifice. That's how bad I was. Yeah. And see, what's sad is that some of my family, even, they probably think I'm, they got it in their heads, probably because they're dealing with things in their lives still. I told them a long while back I had been changing. This is certain family members, a couple of them, and they just don't. It's probably because they're, you can't. First of all, people, we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. We're all each other's brothers and sisters. Like I said, when people used to talk about the flat earth, I thought it was ridiculous. Just foolish. Let's get past that. These Nephilim, they were a gigantic statue. They Smithsonian's institutes, they've wiped them out. I mean, I took this picture right here of this thing. Yeah. What did it do? Just zip away or something? I guess. But anyway, this thing, and it was, I'm telling you, right there in front of me, and a bunch of people saw it. They saw, I was like, wait, and they were like, yeah, you ain't lying. We saw it too. Now this thing just flash in, flash out. Now a lot of people don't understand these UFOs. Yeah, they exist, but they don't exist in the way you think they do. In fact, they're more of a spiritual nature, interdimensional. Like I said, you can't get past that veil unless we open it. And during this, which I was originally talking about, sorry, hiccup. Even this generation in Area 51, it's where they opened the portal. And before that, Germany. Now England, they've always been from Roman times. Come on, people, Roman Catholic people, they're headed the wrong way completely. Those people are loose. I'm telling you, those people in the Vatican are bad people. They wear all the garb that God tells you not to, all the things Christ, Yeshua, tells you not to. That's his Hebrew name. And it's just sad. I mean, how these people do things. This picture also I took, I've got a really nice Canon. Believe it or not, it's got 1,140 times in I crap you not. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, people. I am not joking. This thing is unbelievable, and it's like double high def, super high def, and everything. Yeah, doesn't that look like the sun's just sitting on the clouds like it's a pillow? I'm always amazed looking at this. I can't get over it. And I've taken a couple of good sun photos. Sunrise and sunset. That was a sunset. This is the New World Order. This is what these demons are teaching people and getting this prepared for again today. They even got the monument up in Georgia right now. And this is the Georgia Guidestones. And it tells you, if you look it up, you can find it on Google Earth, people. Believe it or not, it's got it in over 7 different languages. I think it's 9, actually, languages it's got it in. To keep population under 500 million. To have a one-world religion, to keep perpetual balance in nature, blah, 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 avoid petty laws. A one-world good, a new world order, basically. Everything Bush was talking about. That's just a closer picture of that geocentric sun that I'm trying to tell you about. Yes, this thing is unbelievable, people. I mean, here, if you want to see this, well, I can't, that's as close as it'll let me get. Well, if you can get that enlarged on yours, you can read this. Yeah, I'm doing your homework for you. But yeah, that's what it tells you right there. If you can get that enlarged somehow, that's what it'll say. To resolve eternal affairs through the certain type of courts. What I'm trying to tell you people is, I don't think, it says it's going to be worse than it's ever been before. I think they're going to be slicker about it. I don't think it's just going to be flat out giants, even though I do think there's going to be a mixture of things. I do think there'll be giants again, but I don't think it'll be just all giants like it was. Because I do believe at a time, these fallen angels, when they were seeing that things were kind of going wrong from all these teachings and these secret things, and mankind were turning on each other, they realized that God shouldn't be mixing with man. So they DNA manipulated to where they'd have giants, and they would help keep order and be like the bosses and the king and rule in certain areas. And I think that's how that started. And then the king and then the giants became corrupt, because you cannot have a fallen spirit from heaven mix with mankind, because this fallen spirit has ultimately become evil, and mix with mankind because that is pretty much an abomination. It's what God pretty much refers to it as an unholy union. It's unnatural. So, yeah. So these Nephilim, they float about as clouds. They are not in the abyss yet. Like the 200 Seraphim. That's the ones that the cherubim had influenced in the days of Jared to come down on the Mount Hermon and say, hey, what you gonna mix with, what you doing? Yeah. Yeah, so Azazel, he thought he'd take the lead in that. Well, he is the prince of hell, according to the Bible. Now, I'm not the only person that believes this stuff, and we're not the only civilization in time, and generation, and century believes this. All this this stuff about the geocentric and the flat earth and blah, 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 and that there is no space, because there isn't. And they'll even tell you that. What's his name? Bill Nye. He will even tell you that. You got to hear some of the stuff that some of these so-called scientists will tell you. And they say, I really want you to wrap your head around this. You cannot leave the Earth's orbit. And that there's nothing out there. There's just nothing out there beyond that. This is God's country. All around it. Well, that's water above. And it talks about it in Genesis. And God's placed a firmament and separate the waters above from the waters below. And I believe that he has a filtering system, basically. It talks about the windows of heaven. And it's just, I think he's just ingenious. And we've based a lot of our stuff after what God's done. The armature of the earth is what I call it, the motor of the earth. There's electricity in the air just by the salt water of the earth, and all the points in the elements creating magnetic points and attraction. Just a lot of things. And fracture points, and points to where the firmament's going to bust again. They're trying to bust that firmament. Why? So they can get their devils out of there. Remember where it tells you that the devil, where God says, and then I saw, and then John in the book of Revelation says he saw a dragon take his tail and sweep down 1/3 of the host of heaven, or 1/3 of the stars. It's talking about he saw that from the beginning, and that's what happened. They came down, and they caused all kinds of problems, and then things really got bad, and these fallen angels, they came down there. It's not going to be just. There's no such thing as, first of all, people, there's no such thing as comets and blah, blah, blah. If anything hits the earth from above, it's going to be from us fracturing that daggone firmament and from these fallen angels messing around. And also, if God very much wants to do something, yes, he can. But there's a lot of volcanoes, people. We always tend to forget about that. All these little crater, those are basically like boiling pop points. And you can see just by looking at it, it's not meteorite didn't hit that or asteroid. It would have left a ditch or something like, engraved and deeper and deeper and deeper. No, it's perfectly round. These are not those type of craters. These are like popping points, popping out like a pimple. You've seen people with pits in their face. Yeah. So it's not just the Egyptians and stuff that believe about the earth was flat, and they've got they're the ones that had all this stuff written down, diagrams of it, and they painted it, they drew it. The Sumerians believe this. They were before the Egyptians. The Incans believe this. People don't tell you much about them. I have a Vinca disc I'd love to show you. I don't know if I put it on here. If I didn't, I'll put it on my next one. I destroyed it, by the way, but I took a picture of it before I did. that's where we get all of our a lot of our symbols from, and the Nazi symbol comes from. Nazi comes from the word from the Nephilim child that Enki Azazel had through one of his pedophilia type of ancestry sex he was at. He was sick, man. I mean, yeah, they taught pedophilia. They taught all kinds of warcraft. Taught all kinds of every form of evil that they could, and then bad things happen. This is the Perry Reese map showing you about this condition of the earth. Yes, and this is above the North Pole. Huh, didn't know that, did you? And this was the land surrounding it. And right there is Mount Meru or something like that. Something like that. I think that's how you say it. But anyway, I have a picture, I showed on one of my other videos. I encourage you to see it on my other one that I did last about the truth of all creation. And I talk about Hollywood, all this stuff about all this, foolery going on, this deception. Yeah, I'll let you know about there's a vortex over the North Pole and it goes down. And that's part of the filtering system. It comes out of the firmament and you see this. This is where the Eden was basically uplifted and taken up into heaven. And that's why so many people talk, they would try to get to it. You cannot get to it, no matter what. When God wants you to be able to get to it, you will be able to get to it. But until then, no. United Nations, why do they use a flat Earth map? Answer that one for me. Look at that. That's exact with a flat Earth map. Not flat Earth society. Flat Earth map. And that's they say we don't have a working model. We got 1 billion. Where's your working model at? None of your atlases are right. None of your globes are even identical. None of your pictures of Earth are even real or are identical. They're so far off it's not even funny. And they're all CGI or they're all artistically created. Yeah, NASA in Hebrew means deception. Yes, the Illuminati, I'm anti-Illuminati, yes. I know that. But the Illuminati is very, 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 very well engraved. They just place themselves under different secret names. They're going to take, it's not going to be long before they bring down catastrophe down on top of us. It's going to be like that, and it's going to be like, blah, like that. That's me doing just, video stuff. Me altering video. Me doing deception. I did that in minutes. It's not even funny. Now this is the pyramids in Antarctica. This aligns with, guess what? Same alignment as the ones in Egypt. Orion. So this is the pyramid, 8-sided pyramid. They're not 4-sided. They're 8. And they will tell you that even in Egypt, that's how they are. The pyramid of Great Giza. The Giza pyramid. Yes. They kind of they are concave, conclave, or whatever, how you say that. National Space Federation by Trump. This is in Antarctica, but it's not to where you can see it. You have to get it to its perfect elevation if you use it on Google Map. Right one. Right elevation. Any other too far down, too far up, you won't see it. It'll be all whited out snow. All concealed. Oh, there it is. That's the Vinca disc I was trying to tell you about, people. This thing is unbelievable. I tried to destroy it and couldn't do it until I found out 3,300 degrees will destroy it. Fire. I think that's why God uses extreme fire to destroy the fallen angels. Yeah, these guys. Yeah. So they, look, the ancients they didn't depict it because they were stupid or just trying to be symbolic. No, this is what was really around. You had half bird, half man, half blah, blah, blah. They had angels, fallen angels at that this is the tree of life at Kabbalah. This is what their Kabbalah idea of Kabbalah is, tree of life is. They try to teach us to mankind right off the bat. Oh, no, no, don't listen to that. Oh, about how you only can go to God into the head of days in Jesus Christ and Yeshua to get eternal life. No, we've got a way. If you do this, just listen to us. Say, look, we'll even show you. We'll draw a diagram of it so you'll know that it's real. Now you know that drawing things and showing things on video doesn't make it real, does it? when you watch the Avengers, do you think that have you ever seen any of these superhero shows? Have you ever seen like Captain America? You ever seen Iron Man? Well, hopefully you realize how much devilry's in that. But at the same time, there's some tip-offs. I mean, Satan is revealing himself in plain sight, kind of giving you hints all the way through all these shows. Hollywood, magic. Think about it. The Hollywood tree. The. So it took me forever to figure that one out. So don't feel too stupid, people. I mean, I was dumb to this all until I got injured. Until I went against God and I got knocked down, and He knocked me down pretty good. And got ran over by a truck to worsen it and put in a coma. I was shot by an accident I had. And then I got hit by one of these big 17-ton piece of steel trucks and placed in a coma while I was a dispatcher in the military at Fort Eustis. But guess what? I was told I'd never walk again. That's not true. I can run and walk, and I can do everything man told me I couldn't do, because God, that's what proved everything, because then I turned myself over to get Him completely. Now, I fell away there for a second again. You know, and it's not going to be easy, people. It's not. That's why we got to stick by each other, and we can't be snubbing our noses at each other. We are fallible. We all come short. These fallen angels would just love it when you do that. You're just helping them win. No, we have to stick by, people. We have to be there for each other, brothers and sisters. These fallen angels. See, look at the stature between the difference. That dude sitting down. Now, if he stood up, he'd be almost twice as tall. These are referring to giants. Now, see, the fallen angels, you already saw them a while ago, like beings like these, and these, stuff like that. But all in all, Inky, Nindersog. Now, Inky, I want you to notice on him, even though, Inky, I want you to notice, why does it do that? Just look at his face. It keeps doing it. Oh, yeah, even if I do it a little bit, it'll do it. Anyway, notice how they got two faces. The guy to the right, and him with the guy with the floating fish, that's Inky. They're revealing to you how, you get it? How they are in disguise. How they appear as something else. They have an alternate, they have a real being behind it, and it's ugly. So it's showing you, these fallen angels became ugly. They became, once they were kicked out of heaven, once they started deceiving man and doing the sins like Satan had done, and Yakun had done, cursed him to ugliness. First curse for this snake was to crawl on his belly. And then it became ugly, and it couldn't talk, and so stuff like that. No, actually, I got it backwards, sorry. First it was ugliness, and then it was to crawl about on his belly, and then I think it was more ugliness, because I think his beauty at the beginning, I think that's why he was so proud. But it wasn't just pride. A lot of people say it was pride. They got Satan. Well, pride was the initiating step, but it was jealousy too. Pride and jealousy. He was jealous because God was going to make man and make it more beings, and here this flesh being was going to have a spirit in it, but he was going to have to bow to us. He could not understand that. He was like, wait, I'm a being of this and that and of high, stature and fire and everything else and beautiful, and it got music in me, and I am the master of music. That's the reason why you got to watch music today, people. It's horrible. It's engraved in all of our music. So we get to see all these Nephilim, these sorts of beings, and minotaurs, centaurs, everything you can imagine. This was in all of the civilizations, not just one, a few. You had sorry, I had some moth fly in here somehow. Mithras, legend of Mithras come out of Rome, and that came out of Greek at times. Now, granted, They tried to rewrite the Bible. Here's proof again. December 25th is where man messed with it after the Bible. Because it doesn't say in the Bible that he was born on December 25th even. So don't let people sit there and say, well, you know how Jesus ain't real because they put his birthday around him. No. Mankind later on, after the Bible did, and then warped it, and then said, oh, December 25th, we're just going to celebrate that. That's Mithras' birthday. Look it up, people. Guess what else it is? Mithras is in reference to Nimrod. Go way back to the beginning of your Bible. It talks about Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord. This guy built a tower and tried to build it up into the heavens and tried to attack God. And God said, let us go down and we'll fix them. And scatter them abroad, have them speak other languages instead of this. Yeah, Mithras was a big thing. It was a religion. This is where, during the Dark Ages, they're already trying to push heliocentric ideals. Here's the globe, people. See it? See it? Right there. But it didn't catch yet. It took a long time to catch. That's how well people knew the earth was flat. This is showing even in Dark Ages where they're trying to do the geometries of mankind. They're trying to engrave it. These symbols, these Illuminati symbols. Yes, here's the infinite symbol. Truth in plain sight. Just like what Hollywood's doing to us today. They did this back in their paintings, back in the Dark Ages. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that's just a beautiful picture. They don't realize what's going on here in this picture. Showing the dragon as being an ongoing infinite symbol. Well, guess what? He's not. But he will eat himself up. Evil eats evil, people. Evil eats evil. There's Enki again. Yeah, like I said, he is the angel of the bottomless pit. And sadly, people, I'm going to have to end this. We also, look at this. This looks like little... When we hear about aliens, they're not aliens. They're avatars for demons. So they can possess them because they lost their bodies. Remember I told you about that? The GGs. It even has that in the Sumerian tales. And they let her revolt. That was the demons that let her revolt because they didn't have to do work because of their parents. Yeah. So all these Anunnaki tales about gold, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, they were mining gold. So they could build these self-appointed temples so they could be honored. But it wasn't to shield Nibiru. People don't even know what Nibiru is. Nibiru is the destroyer. Oh, it's a star. It's going to fall down. But it's not an actual star. See, all they did was replace the word angel with this fancy sounding word, star. Spirit. With the word star. Yeah, these things I could show you. These stars or whatever. They're, like I said, bioluminescence beyond the firmament. Just like when you have energy, vibrance, somatics within an ocean in the water. Yes, these evil spirits. Yes, these reptiles, Ubadians and stuff. That's why they've been through all the civilizations. They know of these things. Why? Because a lot of, especially in the early times, Sumerians were fresh from Noah, so they had it fresh off of these books. Even they even said that Gog, who was great grandpa of Goliath, he was a giant, was over 16 feet tall, that he was aboard the ship, or his book was anyway, or something like that, to that degree. But these, all these tales were passed along, and I'm very sure the Book of Enoch and such, and many other writings survived the flood because Noah brought them aboard the ark. Now these Mesopotamian demons, yes, they're reptilian, feather-like demons and stuff, because they're in reverence to reptiles and angels. You get it? That's why they have wings. It's not because they really truly had wings. They call them the feathered serpent. Why? Because they know they were once angels and fallen. And then they, became cursed, ugly, reptilian, like slit eyes. Yes. And all a snake is, and all these reptiles that we have, what we consider just animals, they're all in a warning. That's just God's warning of saying, hey, these type of beings really do exist. Yes, they do. And when they possess things, this is how they become. This is what they will look like when they take over something. They'll make them ugly. So people don't understand that. This ugliness, this deformity of the spirit of their what they had done, these fallen spirits, when even the Bible talks about that, and even the book of Enoch talks about it, it exudes the flesh. Exudes. Do you get that? Do you understand what that means? That means that spirit is so horrible and corrupt. Whatever flesh it's in, it'll be like, you know? You get me? I know that was horrible, but I don't know. I'm not really trying to be funny, people. I don't know what better way to describe it, but that is the case. You know, you have Akhenaten. A lot of people think Obama is a DNA clone. I think he is. I know he is, in fact. And so is Michelle. Yep. And she's in that. It's not Nefertiti, per se. She's the queen. What's her name? Not Queen Nefertiti, but yeah, it's Nefertiti. But the daughter. I'm trying to think of her name. I can't think of her name. Anyway, so yeah. And this like we were talking about, the destroyer Nibiru. That's what it is. It's his spirit. It's Azazel. They call him the destroyer. That's what Apollo's called. Duh. Clink, puzzle just went together. Get it? Dude, seriously. Apollo. And they had an angel over them at the bottomless pit. The book of Nicodemus, Jesus, Yeshua, even puts him in charge over Satan because he was like, you know what? Because Satan tricked you, man, and you got to take the whole rap on it. And Satan's down here gloating, and he was going to try to have me blocked out of hell like he could. Actually, has he been stupefied? I'm going to put you in charge of Satan. He's going to be your slave. You're going to be in charge of him. This is one of those pictures. I want you to get a look at this when you're at home. I'd love for you to be able to steal this. They talk about Vimanas in India, even in Egypt. But if you look at this being on this thing, it ain't no. It looks like what? An GG gray alien avatar. These bodies. Why don't they have genitals? Why do they have to do abductions? Why do they have to? Because they can't have sex. Because they're not actual beings. They're possessing like biotech. I call them a GG biotech servants. I have an older video called Anunnaki, Fallen Angels, Ancient Angels. That's what it's called. And it talks about that. A GG Gray bioservants being biotech. They're basic. And when they've even talked about cutting into these bodies, it was like cutting into a suit, they say, or material. That's why. That just validates everything I'm saying. Now look at that beam showing them the technology of light. Now, doesn't he very much look like a large reptile? They talk about these reptilians being humongous. I think there's truth to that, and I think that they're out there in the desert. But remember, people, this is the enmity between the seeds that God was talking about, and these aren't just some off-world. There's no such thing as aliens. There can't be, because there is no space. This is all DNA manipulation. Okay? Tech manipulation. Here's the Perry Reese map. I'd love for you to get to look at it a little bit more. Look these things up, people. Realize that, there's a lot of people in our country right now that are just puppets. Puppets for these top level, believe it or not, the Jews were to turn on God the most. God even said it. His own people would turn on him the most. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Warburgs, people like that. Yeah. And they use Freemasonry. They have a lot of our presidents. Almost every one of them, I think, has been a Freemason. And the Illuminati's well dug in. They control everything, people. And I pray that you have Yeshua on your side. Know that Jesus will come beautiful clouds of ours. Don't fall prey to these people. This is a Masonic building in Clarksburg, West Virginia, believe it or not. One of the largest ones in the world. It is the Lodge of Perfection, is what it's called. I think there's a lot of dark things here in Clarksburg. I really do. In fact, I found out that where the elevation is misrecorded or misgiven, that we're told that it is a much lower elevation than what it is. That's why I got those good pictures of the sun. Pictures of the suns. You too can get good pictures like that out here. Find out that we're much closer to the sky where I'm at right now, where I live. Really, I mean, it's like sometimes I step outside and I'm like, oh, I could touch the stars. I'm serious. It's amazing. So that picture right there, I did not take. That I did. I got off of the internet, but all those other sun pictures you saw were mine from my camera, Canon, 1140 times the image. But anyway, so realize, behold, he comes with 10,000 angels to execute judgment upon all who have done all manners of unrighteousness and ungodly things and wicked things against him and his son, the head of days. So be prepared, because when he comes, when Yeshua comes, he comes to bring judgment. Now, I was going to try to do this daily, but I'm going to probably have to do it every other day, where I've got a tight schedule right now. But people, I look forward to seeing you, my friends, on Wednesday. And we'll be broadcasting again. Thank you. And this has been about Yeshua's channel. And I encourage you to watch other good channels out there, like Vincent Rhodes, a nice young man, strapping man. Actually, he's a nice pastor. And he has got a great channel. He goes, he has a lot on the flat earth to help update you on that a little bit. But he's a very good believer in Yeshua and Yahweh, our Lord, God, or you might want to call it Yahweh, or, just as long as we know who we're worshiping, right? And that they're all one God, and that Jesus is part of God, and he died on the cross for us, and he died to prove to us many things, and that he is the way, the truth, and the light. And that only through him we can all be saved and have an eternal life of pure happiness. So, okay, I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you. And also, just try to go check out Rob Skeepa's channel. It's a good channel too. But Vincent Rhodes, yeah, I beg you to listen to him. He's a great guy, great personality. Thank you guys. Have a great evening.